welcome back to Fantasy Pints Podcast. I'm joined again by James, who is now drinking honey and lemon because he's just about recovered from a sore throat that was keeping us out of podcasting, weren't you?
Yeah, we unfortunately had to cancel a recording with a guest and push it back a week yesterday, and I'm looking forward to getting that episode out. But hopefully, as you can now hear, my voice is on the mend. I slightly overworked myself with beer garden gigs at the weekend and left myself towards the back end of the weekend with a voice which was inaudible.
But now Boris Johnson's announced that we can hug people. He's also announced that we can go inside pubs as of next week. So what does that mean for you? You'll be inside gigging now, not just beer gardens?
Yeah, so I do a lot of work at quite a big Irish bar in Liverpool, and they've got a courtyard. So I've been sort of out there every weekend. But as of the 17th, they're going to be having music inside as well. So it effectively doubles my workload. So I'm going to have to really look after my throat, I think, through the weeks. There's also going to be obviously gigs, at other pubs that are a bit smaller or maybe didn't have the beer garden size to be able to justify live music beforehand. So my diary started to fill up now as of Monday the 17th. Got quite a few private events. There's garden parties with up to 30 people as of Monday as well. So I've got quite a few garden parties booked in. I'm looking forward to it. And again, it's another positive step towards hopefully the end of this pandemic.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's just one more step to go before hopefully something like normality where we can obviously get back to full gigs anywhere, festivals outside, especially in this country. We saw the Sefton Park gig, which we spoke about before, which was a big indicator that this can happen now. And we've got the perfect guest to talk about that, haven't we?
We have. We're joined by DJ Katie Owen, who actually performed at the Sefton Park event, which went down a storm. It was fantastic. I wasn't there, but I've seen the pictures and videos. I'm incredibly jealous of the fact that I wasn't able to be there as a result of being slightly outside of the Liverpool City region.
Wigan's definitely more than slightly outside. I don't think you're ever getting away with that. But yeah, let's get her in. And we're joined this week by another special guest, fresh from DJing in front of 5,000 people at Sefton Park. It's Katie Owen. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
We're good.
Good. How does that feel, by the way, to be introduced that way, especially after over 12 months of probably next to nothing?
I literally went from a year of no gigs
to
absolutely no one to playing in front of 5,000 people. And it was phenomenal. I still haven't recovered. I'm still tired from the event.
Yeah.
Still not over it.
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures and the videos. It looked amazing.
Oh, it was. I don't need to rub it in.
And I think everyone who's performed seems to be saying the same thing. They're like, we're still not coming down from it. It's unbelievable. But how can you sum it up? Like, what was it like when you got out there and just could you feel the sort of the energy and the relief from people?
I honestly think I could have played anything and the crowd would have reacted well because everyone was just so up for it after being kept in for a year. We've all got so much energy, and to be at a gig for normality, it just felt so nice. But yeah, everyone was really energetic and happy. Just nice to be there.
Yeah. And obviously you've been DJing for a while, and I know you've played festivals. You've also done some Radio 1, but would you say that's the pinnacle so far in terms of your DJing?
Yeah, I'd say it's up there. Definitely up there.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing it for in terms of like the indie DJ?
So I've been doing it for about 4 years. I feel like because of the pandemic, I keep thinking that I'm 23, but I'm actually 24. I'm just getting really confused with time. But no, I started when I was 20 and I used to do a club in Cardiff for this feeling. And I literally used to play a Spotify playlist, but pretend that I was DJing. And then one day they were like, do you want to play Isle of Wight Festival? So I was like, yeah, go on then. On the bus on the way there, didn't have a clue how to DJ. I'd been playing a Spotify playlist. And I was on the bus like, what am I doing? I don't even know how to work the decks. So I got there and just completely winged it. And I said to someone, can you recap me on the decks? And just completely winged it. And then ever since then, I've ended up doing it as a career, luckily.
Yeah. So did that go smooth? Go on, sorry.
I've kind of just been winging it ever since.
I was going to say, did that first set go smoothly then at Isle of Wight? There was no hiccups?
I think because everyone was a bit drunk, no one really noticed. And I wasn't mixing music. I was just crossfading in and out.
Yeah.
So I got away with it, luckily.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, there's no disguising your accent, and you just mentioned Cardi. What's the local DJ scene like in Wales, or what was it like when you were really sort of into that?
So when I lived back home in Wales, I'm from the Valleys. Yeah. So it's about an hour from Cardiff. So if you want to go to Cardiff for a gig, the last train back is at 10 o'clock. There's one train every hour, one bus every hour. Otherwise, you're paying like £60 for a taxi home. So there is a music scene in the Valleys, but you've got to kind of go to Cardiff for like, any like big gigs. So it's definitely like still alive and kicking, the music scene. But I've had a lot more gigs in London.
Yeah. And how did you get involved with this feeling then? Because obviously you mentioned that was how you got into DJing, and they're quite an important thing for any new musician. And for as a new DJ, it's obviously worked out that way. So how did that start, and then how important do you think they are for music?
So my dad used to DJ for them like many, many years ago. And then one day he was like, no, I'm too old now. I'm not doing it. I can't, I'm not doing it anymore. So he's like, my daughter's 20. She'll take over from me. So they were like, all right, yeah, fine. And but yeah, I think it's really important for new music to give, it gives them a platform. They give them radio plays, they get them gigs like around the UK. So yeah, I think it's really, really important.
Yeah. And another thing that's important for new music, as you mentioned, radio play, and someone who's important for indie music in particular is Jack Saunders, who you covered for, didn't you, on Radio 1? So how did that come about, and what was that like?
I literally felt like, do you know in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when they win the golden ticket? I literally felt like I was in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and I was like, oh my God, I feel, but no, it was incredible. Like, it was just such an amazing experience. I was like, oh God, what am I doing? It's a big boots to fill.
Yeah. So how long did you do it for then, the covering Jack's show?
So I did it over Christmas. So yeah, a few shows around Christmas time, just before the lockdown, the pandemic. And then after that Christmas, then January, February, March, we went into lockdown. So
yeah, it's
been a bit of a frustrating year, but I think things are coming back now, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And I mean, that show sounds ideal in terms of your music taste. Would you agree with that in terms of sort of the indie rock side of things? Oh
yeah, so I'm, like in my indie is my my passion. Indie rock, 60s, the Beatles, that's all the music I grew up on, the Kinks. But I do love my dance music, like I love a bit of house. So yeah, like I really go from like one end of the spectrum to the other. Like one day I'll be listening to Cortinas and Oasis, and the next day I'll be listening to like them or the Venga Boys. It really varies depending what mood I'm in.
Sounds a bit like
sounds like my missus, yeah.
That's not me. I was gonna say, what are the big songs? Because I've got a few in mind, but as someone behind the decks, what are the songs that go to floor fillers?
So my 5, like if I'm doing an indie set, the 5 classics, like indie go-to ones that everyone sings back at you. Cortinas, Not 19 Forever. Yeah. Arctic Monkeys, I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor. Seven Nation Army, Take Me Out. All the ones that like have got an easy chorus to sing back.
Yeah.
And all like the big indie bangers. Blondie. I don't know. It's all left my head now. Put me on the spot. I've gone all shy.
I did see a video of one of those. I think it was about you look good on the dance floor at the Sefton Park gig, and that looked incredible.
And another one. Everyone's always like, this song's so overplayed and annoying. But Mr. Brightside, like when you've had a few pints and you're with your mates, and that comes on, like, it's the best.
Yeah. Everyone will slag it off, and then it'll be there.
The minute it comes on. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And are you into your new music then? Because obviously being involved with this feeling, is there anything you've been listening to, particularly maybe during lockdown, that you might start playing in your sets?
Yes, well, so before like lockdown, I'd go to gigs regularly. I'd always be at gigs, finding new music. And I've got like a playlist. Well, I've made a playlist actually this week of new songs that I'm listening to, and I've got artists like Dry Cleaning on there, Cassiette, Baby Queen, Squid, all those kinds of artists. So yeah, definitely.
No, good, yeah. Because Squid's album just come out, hasn't it, on Friday? One of the things that a lot of people have been talking about this year is gender misrepresentation on particularly festival lineups. There's been a lot made of it on social media, so I was wondering what's your perspective on that and what kind of needs to change in the industry.
Yeah, and I feel like I've done a few gigs, played a few gigs in London and like around the UK, and I've turned up to DJ and then I've been asked if I'm a member of the band's girlfriend, or if I'm just like there, you know, they don't take me seriously because I'm a woman, and they'll always like not expect me to play good music or know about music, or they'll think that you're pretending to like an artist just to impress men. And I'm like, no, I actually love this music. I'm not going to pretend to like Oasis just to impress you. Like, I'm not bothered. So yeah, and I think things do need to change, but I feel like we're on the right path.
Yeah, I agree. It was positive to see, obviously, yourself and Zuzu on the lineup for Sefton Park a couple of weeks ago. And as Sean, I would imagine, was about to say, I think there has been a move towards more sort of female representation on festival lineups and whatnot. There is still definitely room for improvement, but I think we're on the right path. Yeah,
because like you've seen on Twitter, some of them they'll put the lineup of festivals, and then you'll take the men out, and there's literally just like 2 women out of an entire festival, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I just thought it was a big kick in the teeth, particularly after 2020, where there was sort of like, I'm thinking the Big Moon released probably one of the best albums of the year, and I don't think I've seen them on like any festival lineups from. Well, I think if I have, they're quite far down, and it just feels like nobody's really listening. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it is frustrating, but like I said, I feel like things are starting to like change now and on the right path.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the theme of the podcast, which is Fantasy Pints. So it's 3 musicians, past or present, that you can go out for a drink with. Who is your first choice and why?
Do you know what? This is so hard. Like, I've changed my answer so many times. I'd think of someone and then be like, no, like as if I thought it'd actually happen. But definitely 100% George Harrison.
Yes.
Just because I think he's like the most beautiful human being in the world. And I think I would just be starstruck. To have a pint with a member of the Beatles would just be mind-blowing. So yeah, George Harrison, Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Because I just think, she's a beautiful soul. And I just think she'd be a good laugh. Like, she always used to drink in the Dublin Castle in Camden and the Holy Arms, the Good Mixer. And I go to all those pubs, so I can just imagine like sitting by her having a pint and just having a good time. And then the third person, I don't know, I'd say someone like, you wouldn't expect this from me, but like Cardi B or like Doja Cat.
Really?
Just because I think, she just seems, I just think she'd have you in stitches laughing, and they seem a bit nuts, and I just think they'd be great.
Well, what? Because we also say to people, imagine you're in the same room. So,
oh my God, can you imagine?
I was going to say, how do you think George Harrison would get on with Cardi B?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't reckon. I think it'd be a bit like, what was that?
It would definitely be an interesting one, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What 100%. Pub would you take them to? What pub would you take the 3 of them to?
We've not asked anyone this, have we?
No, This is off the top of my head.
So in the middle of lockdown, I got a job in a pub called, I've forgotten the name of it, and I worked there for a few months. No, called The Crown, and it was like a proper dodgy Irish pub, right, in North London. They'd have people coming in who'd stolen stuff from shops. They'd stolen like meat from the meat counters in Tesco's, and they'd stolen like perfume, and they'd come round and sell all this stuff in the pub, and all like the old Irishmen would buy it. So
Like
I
the,
think
it's like the modern day version of the pirated DVD, man, isn't it? They used to come around the pubs.
I loved it. I'd buy like steaks and stuff. I'd be behind the bar and I'd be like, pick me first. So yeah, I'd take them to that pub because I just think it'd be chaos. I'd love it.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, and I was thinking like even the dynamic between Amy Winehouse and Cardi B would be interesting because that's sort of what would she think of that modern music? That obviously Cardi B is massive, isn't she now?
It'd be very interesting. Completely different characters and music as well.
Yeah. No, but
what do you think the three of them would drink? What do you think George is drinking?
I reckon like when he was younger, he's like Scouse, so I'd say like a pint, nice pint, solid pint. But then I reckon as he's gotten older, I'd say he's more of like a whiskey kind of man.
Yeah, I can see that.
As he's older.
Laced with LSD, probably.
Bit of acid in there, yeah, lovely. And then I reckon Amy Winehouse is a Jaeger bomb kind of gal.
Yeah.
I reckon she'd have you on the shots and the Jaeger bombs. And then I'd reckon Cardi B, I don't know, I reckon she's what's it called? Not Heineken. What's the whiskey called? The rum stuff.
I thought you were going to go
Hennessy. Hennessy.
Hennessy.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I reckon she's a Hennessy drinker.
Good choices. None of them have been picked before as well, I think.
What do people usually go for?
So we talk about this. So Liam Gallagher is obviously picked a lot, but we to the point where we were going to decide that he was automatically there in the pub when you got there. But yeah, we got Keith Richards a lot because I used to do it as just a general interview question at the end, and I didn't warn them about it, so I put them on the spot. And
I bet people were like, oh, because it's hard. I liked it though. It's a good question.
Yeah, no, it is. But like when they don't have much thought, I think a lot of people automatically went for Liam Gallagher, whereas on the podcast, you'd think people have given it a bit more thought, and then they're like, oh, no, we don't want to pick him. That's too obvious. But yeah, I think one person did choose Amy Winehouse in my interviews, but the other two definitely not been picked.
Not George Harrison.
No.
Well, we got a lot of John Lennon. We had a Paul McCartney.
I think George is the coolest Beatle
as well. I agree. George is fantastic.
Yeah, George is my fave. I'd love to go for a pint with him.
Yeah,
be my dream.
No, that's good. So moving on to sort of close the chat. What have you got planned for 2021 now in terms of when things are hopefully now opening up?
Ooh,
back to some form of normality?
Some fingers crossed, please. So I've got another few festivals that are not announced in the pipeline. I'm starting to do more football stuff, like more football presenting. So there's some stuff with that as well. Most of it's not announced. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I can announce.
You can give us an exclusive if you want to.
So what's the sort of football stuff do you mean in terms of presenting? Just TV work, or is that radio?
Yeah, like TV. Hopefully, I can't say, but hopefully doing stuff around the Wales team in the Euros.
That'd be great.
Yeah. You're quite big into your football then.
Yes, big Wales fan, and Cardiff and Spurs, because Spurs has got Gareth Bale, Joe Rodon, Ben Davis. So I feel like there's the Welsh aspect and get away with that.
What are your hopes for the Euros?
Wales smashes it. I hope so. Wales win. Yeah, everyone else loses. But who do you both support?
Well, we're in England. We're England fans, and they're currently favourites to win it for some unknown reason. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm not expecting it. Club-wise, we're both Manchester United fans as well.
United fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, we've learned as England fans not to get our hopes up. Really.
I know. Don't want to crush anyone's dreams. That was at the Euros last year. Wales did so well, and then they got left. And
they had a good run, didn't they?
Yeah, and hopefully this year it'll be good as well.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just stuff I can't really announce, but keep an eye on my socials.
And where can people find you on social media then?
Pardon?
Where can people find you on social media?
Okay, so at Katie Owen, that's my Instagram, plain and simple, KatieOwen. Owen, not Owens, Owen. A lot of people, like, I've done a few festivals and they put Katie Owens on the lineup, and it literally, like, I'm like, how can you not spell Owen right?
I think I've seen both. Now you say that, I thought I'd seen both because I couldn't work out.
Yeah, and I've had it quite a few times, and I'm like, it's not a hard name to get wrong.
No.
It's just, So yeah, that's my Instagram. Twitter is it's all Katie Owen. Nothing too out there. Nothing like Welsh Babe 202. None of that.
No. Yeah, but thanks very much for your time. And yeah, fingers crossed we'll see you at some festivals then.
Hopefully. Thank you for having me.
No worries.
Thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Massively appreciate your time, Katie. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Right, so that was Katie Owen. I've seen loads of stuff online, particularly post Sefton Park gig, where people were praising her set, and I've seen loads of videos. I even saw someone on Twitter who was asking, could she put a set on Spotify? So I'm sure there's big things to come. Especially, she said she's got a few things lined up that she can't speak about yet, but hopefully we'll find out soon.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing about all that stuff, particularly the football stuff as well. I can't wait for the Euros, but I'm even more excited now to see what Katie's going to be working on with the Welsh national team.
Yeah, I just really hope that the Welsh national team don't get further than the England national team this time. Also, a certain friend of mine from Abergavenny won't let me live it down.
Yeah, I think we've all got a couple of friends who like to have the football beef. I worked in Wrexham for a small period of time, so I've got quite a few friends from Wrexham who would love to see Wales best England in the Euros.
I'd like to think that we've got a stronger squad this time around, but we'll see. I don't want to say too much and jinx it. But yeah, we'll be back next week, hopefully on Thursday, with a new episode and a new guest. So thank you for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Northern Chorus _, Instagram at Northern Chorus, and Facebook Northern Chorus UK.
Apologies for the bad voice this week. Bye bye for now.
I genuinely don't think it sounded bad.